I'm Chris Farrell from Walking the Walking Dead, a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual, but you can check out other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. Now get ready, because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe podcast. This is podcast number 67 on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Season 2, Episode 15, One Door Closes. This podcast is recorded on Wednesday, April 1st, 2015. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast, a fancast, a bunch of fans that are doing a podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agent Carter, and the general Marvel comic universe.
Because we used to have eyes. They were blue.
If you'd like to talk to us about our blue eyes, you can visit our website, legendsofshield.com, where you'll find all of our contact information. We have a voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871. You can find us on Facebook, where we're Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Podcast. You can find us on Twitter, we're at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., Tumblr, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., YouTube, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we have forums available at forums.gonnageek.com, or if you have a smartphone, you can search for the Tapatalk app, and we're Gonna Geek, all one word there.
And if you are listening to a podcast and we are not on the app, let me know and I'll try to make it possible. We are on the Podcast Source app, we're on Spreaker, we're on SoundCloud, we're just all over the place. So we love when you can listen to us. And for those new to the podcast, welcome. We noticed that there are a bunch of new listeners this month, so thank you for listening to us. Welcome to our podcast. And if you want, if you're listening, send us a voicemail. Send me an email at stargatepioneer@gonnageek.com or tweet us or Facebook us and tell us how you heard about us and how you like the show.
If you are a new listener who picked up a button from AggieCon, howdy! And I hope you like the show. And I did not mean to sound deliberately Southern there because I never do. I just kind of stumbled over the word.
Yeehaw!
We don't say yeehaw. But yeah, thank you for checking us out. And I hope you stick with us.
Yes, we hope you stick with us. And we hope the show sticks as good as it is because this week we saw One Door Closes. I watched it a couple of times. I loved it even more the second time. How about you ladies?
It was really good. I really, really liked it.
Okay. So, yes, it was really good. But watching it, I had so many just, all the feels. I'm watching it. And the first time you watch it, you're thinking like, what's going on? The second time you watch it, you're looking for all these nuances and these things that are happening. And you notice the little character moments. So, yes, this episode was great on just a number of levels. And I know it's a lot to ask for them to do this every single week, but I think that the past few weeks have been just kind of upwards, and this was just another dot in that line.
It's definitely been ratcheting up ever since the mid-season finale came back swinging and just gone up and up and up. We talked about it before, which is your favorite quarter of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so far, and some people were kind of split. Maybe after the Captain America movie last year, the tie-in last year, we called that the second quarter of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything before that was the first quarter. And then the third quarter was up to Adelan in the mid-season finale for season 2. And the fourth quarter is what we're in now after the break. And I was firmly in this quarter is definitely the best. A lot of people said after Captain America Winter Soldier was the best, but I gotta say, once we get to the end here, I think a lot of people are going to say this is the best S.H.I.E.L.D. we've had so far. And guess what? It's a Wheaton show. End of season 2. Go figure. It's good.
Remember, that's where Buffy really took up steam.
Yeah. And that's where I'm stuck, too. Episode 20 of season 2 of Buffy.
Oh, I was going to say, because there's like one really terrible episode, and then there's 5 or 6 like through the end of the season that are just phenomenal. But there's a really, really bad episode you have to get through.
Which episode?
It's the one right before Innocence and Surprise. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Bad Eggs.
Oh, that one.
That Jim.
And talking about Buffy, our director this week, David Solomon, actually produced Buffy. He produced Dollhouse, Nikita. He's directed a lot of stuff, including, and this was cool once I found out, Firefly episode Out of Gas.
So a little bit of Whedon work under his belt.
Oh, yeah. And Out of Gas is my favorite episode of Firefly.
It might be mine, too. It's really good.
A lot of people have their favorite Firefly episode, Shindig, Out of Gas, whatever it is. They're all good. And even though there's just so few of them.
Great. Now I have to rewatch Firefly again.
I know, right?
Well, it won't take you that long.
Aw.
Oh, he's directed 6 episodes of Dollhouse, including Epitaph 1 and 2, which I love.
Oh, I loved the Epitaphs. I loved them more than the entire series. Just those 2 episodes.
Oh, he directed some really good Buffy episodes.
Yeah. And then also the writers for this week, we have Lauren LaFranc, who is an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. supervisor producer, also a writer for Chuck. And then Rafe Judkins, who is also an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. supervisor producer, and also a writer for Chuck and the 4400. Lots of cred in the crew for the writers and the directors for this week. It is awesome.
Okay, did anybody else have Battlestar flashbacks like this entire episode?
Yeah.
Yes, between Lucy Lawless, Admiral Adama being injured, a takeover.
The commander and the chief.
Exactly. Just the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, where's the Cylons? Someone bring out the Cylons. Where's Sharon? Did she already shoot Adama? What's going on?
No, these are different traitors in their midst.
But yes, serious season 1 Battlestar Galactica flashbacks, which was not bad because season 1 of Battlestar Galactica is fantastic.
Yeah, solid all the way through.
So this was basically good Battlestar Galactica, but you remove Ronald D. Moore.
Yeah, kinda.
Because he's busy right now on Outlander, which I recommend everyone go see because beautiful music, great plot, lots of beautiful naked people.
Yes, there's nothing to not like about that show.
Hottest sex scene I've ever seen on TV. I'm telling y'all.
I'm kind of sour on Ronald D. Moore because I've watched Helix, and that just does not turn my handle at all.
Oh, see, what you should have done is not watch Helix.
Yes, right.
That's what I did.
Yeah, what you should do is watch Outlander.
Yes.
Okay, I'll switch.
Yes.
Switching gears. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we got this whole S.H.I.E.L.D. versus S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. Where are the Koeings? They got to be in the midst somewhere.
They're hanging out in their own little areas.
Yep, each one of them is on a base playing, I don't know, what, Call of Duty?
They're like a Roomba, and they can only be so far from their little area.
Before they have to turn around and come back.
Exactly.
I like it when the Roombas have to bump into pets. Like, yeah, this wasn't here before. I've seen it before. We don't have a Roomba here.
Okay, so can we get Fitz and or Simmons riding piggyback on a Koenig? Because that would just make my day. Just put them in a little shark costume.
That would be so funny. I think he'd go for it too.
Probably.
But also, where's Raina? Where's Ward? Where's Agent 33? Where's Deathlock? You know, there's a bunch of universal story that we just don't get into. Cal, we don't see. We see Gordon, but we don't see Cal.
Well, this isn't their story right now, though. This is S.H.I.E.L.D. and other S.H.I.E.L.D. story, kind of like Barry and other Barry.
I will say this about Deathlock. When I went to the J. August Richards panel at Planet Comic-Con a couple weeks ago, he was asked, you know, are you going to be in more episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D.? To which he replied, I don't know and I can't say. And then he talked more about the Marvel snipers.
Yeah.
So should we take that as a yes?
Well, if what comes to fruition is what you ladies want with Deathlock Hartley, I would think that he would have to be around for the technology.
No, not necessarily. I would expect to see him in a flashback in that episode, but not necessarily a present timeline, because it's just technology. They don't need him there for it.
If we see him again in the future, I have a feeling it'll be something along the lines of, like they said when they're separating the enhanced from the gifted, or whatever they were calling them.
Yeah, enhanced.
That they'll have to try to wrangle him up somehow and be like, hey, so...
Maybe he'll be in Civil War.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what kind of crossover there is between Ultron, Civil War, and S.H.I.E.L.D. It's going to be awesome. Because I think where they're heading, you kind of have to. Because there's going to be ramifications for S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not going to be there.
Hashtag it's all connected.
Yeah, they haven't used that this year, have they?
No, they have not.
No.
I think their big thing this year is like, what will we become or something like that.
Yep.
So again, I'm going to ask, is the aircraft carrier they're on, I think they called it the Iliad.
It's the Iliad.
Is that a helicarrier or is that just a ocean-going vessel?
I think it's just an ocean-going vessel.
Ditto.
Because I think they blew up all the helicarriers.
Yeah, they made such a big deal out of the 3 new helicarriers.
Like, if they had one out there floating around, it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you wanted to see why they were making such a big deal out of this one when there might have been other ones, you could say, oh, these ones have the new Stark engine propeller or whatever. But no, I think that before those 3, there had just been the one that Fury was on and that got messed up in Avengers. So I think this is just a regular carrier.
Yeah, and also, you can't have a helicarrier around that long without it getting exploded.
This is also true. It's kind of like having the Xavier Mansion. There's only so long you can have it standing before somebody has to come blow it up.
Yeah.
Well, here in America, we've lived in a period of naval stability ever since World War II. We really haven't had big naval battles where ships get sunk and that sort of thing like we did in World War II, where you literally lost multiple aircraft carriers or multiple battleships in each and every battle. So we only have 12 active aircraft carriers in the United States Navy today, not all of which are at sea at any given time either. So losing one is a big deal. So yeah, I could see where it would be difficult to lose one. So, okay, I didn't realize that Mac was only an engineer. I thought he was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, an honest-to-goodness, full-fledged S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, but I think he's the chief engineer on the Iliad, right?
Right.
I think so. That guy got shot because he was trying to protect Mac. And I guess whatever he was before, having survived all of that, everybody has taken at least 3 levels.
Yeah. Well, and he says he met Bobbi when he was doing support for a mission she was on. He wasn't an agent on that mission.
Adam in the chat mentioned that he thinks it's more likely that the Iliad is a helicarrier now that it is the Iliad. I think because it is a helicarrier in the comics, but I don't know. We'll see. And the first time we see Fury's helicarrier, it is a ship that actually transforms into the helicarrier with the turbofans or whatever they are coming out from the sides of the ship, right?
Okay, there is a helicarrier named the Iliad in the comics, yes.
All right.
But I still think that it's just a regular carrier.
Yeah.
Which fight scene do you guys want to talk about first? Because there was a lot of them in this episode. You had Bobbi going into the engineering room. You had Hartley in the corridor. You had Bobbi versus May. Yeah, I mean, you had Skye taking out an agent. Where do you want to start?
Oh, part of me just wants to start with Skye, but we should probably end with her.
Okay.
Yes. So let's talk about Hartley in the corridor. That was awesome.
No, well, before Hartley gets to the corridor, I love that Bobbi is as much a fan of her as we are.
Yes.
I love your whole thing. You know that?
Speaking for everybody that's watching the show.
Pretty much, because, well, it's Lucy Lawless, and even before she's on screen, you know she's got to be awesome because she's Lucy Lawless.
She is.
So you have to give her this kind of legend.
Legend, like Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Legend. Wait for it.
I was going to say more like Legends of Xena.
Dairy. Yeah.
There you go.
Actually, that's what I put in my notes when I saw her. Xena, exclamation point.
And she only uses a knife.
There was parts when she was talking that it was like I could hear Xena. You've seen the show. You know the kind of accent that she uses. It's not really generic American, but it's not her natural accent either.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like a Western.
Yeah.
Like an old Western.
Kind of. And she's using parts of that accent here when she's being just really brash and, you know, I've got this.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, oh man, Xena's back.
Yeah. Well, she didn't use a gun, you know, saving the bullets for the real fight. Okay, so Bobbi slow-moing coming into the engine room. Nice.
You need a minute?
Just, again, anytime it's slow-mo, you know there's going to be business.
2 guns going all the time, all the way to the end, and then Hartley comes in to save the day.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I kind of wanted her to just shoot the guy in the head, like he's holding the girl hostage, and her to just be like, boom.
Yeah, but it was a good entrance for Hartley because you didn't know she was there until that happened, so that was pretty cool. I mean, the whole thing was cool. And then later on, we get Bobbi versus May, or as...
Sort of.
Well, they were fighting. But
A little bit.
Cajun Sean put in the chat, Calvary versus Mockingbird.
I wish that fight had gone on a little bit.
Yeah. I understand, cutting it for time and story, but still, that would have been really awesome.
It was. And then we'll save the Skye for later, but how Simmons deals with Mockingbird.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. I'm going to have to just fangirl over that because that whole time I'm there thinking, no, poor little science baby. Just don't get hoodwinked. All her trust is just going to be gone if she gets drawn into this. This is terrible. And she has Mockingbird hold this thing.
As soon as she put that thing in her hand, I was like, oh, she's got a plan.
And then she puts the other thing in there and I'm watching it. My husband sitting next to me. He's like, oh, that is smooth. And just, wow, that is way, way more. Simmons can't tell a lie. Simmons. That is just way sneakier than I ever gave her credit for.
That was before she went undercover with Hydra for however long.
Just little babies growing up. And I feel bad for her because this is, her idol right here. Her science babysitter. And
we still think that she was mind controlled too. Compliance will be rewarded, right? I don't think that's gone.
I don't think so.
But who is left to even activate that programming? Like, Whitehall's gone, Bakshi's gone, well, mostly gone.
If he's not gone, he will be soon.
I don't think he's going to be in any state to activate anybody's programming.
To the pain!
I think Ward and Agent 33 could do it.
Except they didn't program her, so they probably don't know all the protocols and stuff.
I still don't think she was programmed.
All right.
Well, we had another betrayal between our science babysitter.
Oh, no.
Poor little Fitz.
You know what, though? Mac saved Fitz.
Mac did save Fitz, but I feel so bad for Fitz because every time he starts trusting someone, Simmons doesn't so much betray him as just fail what he was hoping would go on. So it was just kind of failed expectations there. Ward tried to kill him.
Yeah. I kind of expected him to say something along the lines of, last time I trusted someone I shouldn't, I ended up at the bottom of the ocean.
I know, but the difference here is that Mac genuinely does not want to hurt him, and Mac is trying to look out for him, and Mac does save him. And I mean, it's not that Simmons is trying to hurt him or anything. It's just that she can't help but hurt him because, again, she's not meeting up to his expectations and what he thought would happen and things like that, which is not, the love thing. And I think he realizes that's never going to happen. It's just why can't you just accept me for who I am now in terms of post-injury and recovering? I think we've long passed the point where Fitz and Simmons as a romantic couple could ever have happened.
Right. Well, and I think she's just having a hard time accepting things that have changed around her. She can't accept what's happened with Fitz. She can't accept what's happening with Skye.
She can't accept what's happening with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. Of all of them, she's the one that I think is most likely to switch sides here. And I think that might be the betrayal more than her being secretly Hydra programmed.
I think that we're in for an exciting final 5 episodes.
Well, yeah.
Oh my god, are we only down to the final 5 episodes?
No, there's more than 5 left, aren't there?
Okay, you scared me.
Well, there might be 6, but I was going for the BSG reference and nobody picked it up. Come on.
Oh, final 5. I got you.
You panicked me.
Don't do that.
There's 6, not 5. No. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm confusing series.
You wait a minute.
This is episode 15. We go for 23, so there's 8 left.
Okay, that's better.
Jeez. I was going to say, our fragile nerd girl hearts can't take this kind of abuse. Jeez.
April Fools.
Jerk face.
How dare you, sir?
That wasn't intentional, but I'll use the excuse anyway. Okay, so Coulson takes Mac prisoner. It was all planned, but before he does it, Bobbi walks up, and it never crosses his mind that Bobbi might be part of it, even though they're caught in the same lie.
Right, they've both been talking about how they're handling Hunter right now, so they're clearly working together in some way. Why would you let her wander off by herself?
I didn't get that at all.
Bonehead move, director Coulson.
It was, and I think it's bad writing.
Yeah. May should have stopped her as soon as she went into that control room to do whatever to the thingy.
Right. Well, she went into the Quinjet, and then she went into 616, and then she went into the control room. So she got all 3 and knew what she was doing, apparently. And Fitz is going to have to make some more repairs. Go figure.
Again.
But then the whole betrayal, what happened, and then May finds the gas mask, and how'd you guys think that was going to go? Because I thought she was actually going to save the toolbox and get out of there with Coulson. Instead, she doesn't save the toolbox. She does get Coulson out of there with his to-go bag. Remember the to-go bag that they talked about earlier in the year?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was. And then she gets caught. So I guess somebody has to stay behind and watch over the science babies.
I think so.
I figured she would stay behind to just kind of take the heat away from Coulson a little bit. That maybe they wouldn't search as much if they had less people to search for. Even though, yes, Coulson's going to be the big one they're searching for, but...
Did it freak anybody out that that elevator didn't have a door?
It freaked me out when the elevator just dropped really fast.
Yeah, that was something straight out of like Voltron or something. It was
like, no warning, keep your hands and feet inside the elevator, just boom.
That was something out of like the elevators from my old college. There was this one building where the elevators just went really fast like that. I mean, it was great to jump in. They do that thing where as soon as they close, you jump.
Uh-huh. You'd end up on the ceiling on that one.
Oh, yeah. No, that would be an experience.
Okay, Cajun Sean in the chat says Season 2 is scheduled for 22 episodes. So I stand corrected. It's 22, which makes it 7 episodes.
More.
Yeah.
Ugh. But we got Daredevil coming pretty darn soon.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
We have Daredevil coming next week.
I know.
Oh, guess what?
What?
I took Friday and the following Monday off, so boom, I'm going to watch them.
I had already taken it off because I was going to a wedding that weekend, but I have nothing to do on Saturday except watch Daredevil.
There you go.
That was convenient.
It turns out that I have no time to take off, but, well...
You sound like you're coming down with something.
There's means. I do seem to be coming down with something.
We have it on tape. You definitely sound like you're getting a little stuffy.
I think,
yeah, you hear that, guys?
I think
she's got a touch of Ebola, maybe a little plague.
Just a slight touch of Black Plague.
Oh, just take your iPad, your tablet or whatever into
I have Netflix on my iPad. It's going to be great.
So just take it into the quarantine room and you'll be fine.
Yep.
And with what you do you guys have a quarantine room?
Not in my lab, but the National Laboratory is right near us.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, fun fact, remember when we had the Ebola patient in Dallas?
Yes. Yep.
So they trucked down all the biohazard waste from there.
Ew.
And burned it in the building next to where I work.
You just keep on getting these stories better and better, like the lab exploding on college and then this.
You're kind of like Bernadette on Big Bang Theory.
I've seen like one episode of Big Bang Theory.
She is definitely Bernadette.
Well, Bernadette's the best character.
She is.
I remember an episode where she brought everybody drinks or something, and she's like, wait, I can't remember if I washed my hands after I dealt with the virus this morning. I'm almost positive I did.
Okay, that actually does kind of sound like me.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely need to wash my hands after I work with stuff because I work with E. coli.
I work with the public.
Okay, that is worse.
Yeah, I won't tell you guys what I work with. You can let your imaginations roar there. Yes.
Okay, my first answer to that when you don't say anything is always butts. So.
All right. So Commander Gonzalez decides to take the ship back, even though...
Wait. When he makes that decision, I'm still the commander of this ship. Yes, you are, Odama.
Yes, you are.
You can't just, it's there. It's so...
I was just waiting for him to say sometimes he got to roll a hard 6. I was just waiting.
There are 7 episodes left for him to say it.
There are. They got to sneak it in.
And he's going to be around for a little bit. We have an interview with him discussing his involvement with the series a little bit later.
He obviously hasn't heard about the Marvel snipers.
Yeah, he will now.
He obviously doesn't care about the Marvel snipers.
Though that's true, too.
He's like, I'm the Admiral. What are they going to do?
A Cylon took her best shot and didn't get me. What are they going to do?
That's right.
You missed Butterfingers.
Oh, God. Y'all got to watch BSG if you haven't.
Yeah. BSG is short for Battlestar Galactica, and we're talking about the reboot that started in 2003, the miniseries.
No, go back and watch the original.
That's not necessary.
We were watching it the other day. By the other day, I think I mean like 2 months ago, because I don't remember time. But yeah, it's quite a different show.
Yes, it is a way different show, and there's a Daggett.
Ah, that friggin' Daggett. I can't say what I actually say whenever he shows up on screen, because we're trying to keep this PG-13.
Okay.
Also, Atreyu's in it.
Yes. And, okay, so Commander Gonzalez decides to save the ship, or is forced into it anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't decide.
He
they
doesn't
voted
decide
and he
it.
lost.
But the important point is Fury wanted the thing sunk because what was inside, and we haven't found out what's inside in the cargo hold yet.
And we only have his word that Fury wanted the ship sunk. I am deeply suspicious of this.
Well, and Bobbi.
Bobbi. I wouldn't be suspicious about Bobbi because she came on board under Fury's orders.
And I think Hartley. Xena. Yes, Hartley. Hartley was there to back her up, right?
Yeah. I wasn't sure who was leading that expedition, but Bobbi was definitely the grunt to get into the engine room. I'm surprised they went for the engine room first and not for the conference room. That's a good question. Maybe it was on the way.
I don't know.
Okay. So that is something that will be interesting to find out because that was just too much of a bombshells dropped along the way. Although, so Gonzalez takes over the S.H.I.E.L.D. base and he says he doesn't want to move in. Well, if I had an aircraft carrier like that, I wouldn't want to move in either. But so he doesn't want to move in and he has that talk with Coulson and about not trusting him or anything. And there's a quote that Coulson gives back to him. And I don't know if you have this in your quotes, Haley, or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it now.
Go for it.
If you want to talk to me, Agent Gonzalez, you should have talked to me. You put spies on my team. You invaded my base. You hurt my people. Fury's secrets didn't bring down S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra did. I think that whole thing actually speaks a lot. Like Gonzalez should have come forward way before he did. He obviously knew of Coulson's team.
Right. He goes on and on about Fury's secrets, and then he's got spies in an obviously not malicious group.
Yeah. So there's something behind that.
Well, the thing that I don't think either of these sides really seem to get is that no matter which side wins out, Coulson's S.H.I.E.L.D. or Gonzalez's S.H.I.E.L.D., it's still a spy organization. There's only so much
transparency.
Thank you. I was going to say conspiracy, but that was not well, I guess it could be the correct word, but not in this case. There's only so much transparency that kind of organization can have, even within itself. Just practically speaking.
Generally, when you're talking about classified information, even if you have clearance to see the information, it's usually need to know. So do you need to know it to do your job? If the answer is no, then you don't get to see it, or it's not made readily available for you to see it. So that's just how classified information works.
And I know there's a lot that you can read up on just in a general nonfiction real world sense about the creeping culture of secrecy, and it's kind of interesting to see that sort of thing applied in a comic book sort of setting like this. But for all of their kind of posturing, they're either going to have to just destroy it and rebuild it from the ground up, which just seems like a lot of trouble, or just kind of accept what they've been given and move on. Because either way, Hydra or somebody like Hydra is still going to get the chance to infiltrate because it is what they are doing, the nature of it runs on secrets.
Yeah, and if you get too much into the paranoia, which you kind of have to be in an organization like S.H.I.E.L.D. is right now, but if you get too paranoid, then you can't work together with anybody. I mean, Coulson mentions it a couple of times. There's very few people I can trust. I trust you, right? And to Skye. He said that last week to Skye. And yeah, there's very few people that you can trust, but you can't do the things you need to do. You can't take down Adelan. You can't continue to take down Hydra without numbers. So you have to start trusting some people, and you have to have people that are actually have the skills and the ability to do it. And that might not necessarily coincide with the people that you trust. So you need to make coalitions with people that you don't trust.
So again, they need to decide, are they going to be more of a police force, or are they going to be more of an intelligence agency? Because right now, it doesn't seem like they're very effective at being both, and they don't know how to reconcile that.
Right. So, okay, take a look at the MCU right now. You have threats from outer space going on. We kind of know the storyline of what's going to happen in Avengers. You know what's coming up with Civil War. So you have threats on the planet Earth. You have threats from the universe to Earth, and S.H.I.E.L.D's in charge of protecting it all. And they're going to be spread pretty thin on doing one or the other, or even within itself. So you got three enemies, and it's hard to fight on two fronts, let alone three.
There's a great quote from Babylon 5. Only an idiot fights a war on two fronts. Only the emperor of the kingdom of idiots fights a war on 12 fronts. I think that's I probably messed up the quote, but it's a very apt quote.
I'm sorry, Babylon 5 is one of the series like Farscape that I haven't seen yet, but we'll definitely
watch it.
Yeah, I'll get to it. I promise, I will.
See, I thought you were going to do the Adama quote. There's a reason we separate the military from the police. I'm not going to get this all right. The purpose of the military is to fight the enemies of the state. The purpose of the police is to serve and protect the people. When you combine the two, the people tend to become the enemy.
Yeah. We do have laws here in the United States, I can't speak for other countries, that separate the military from the FBI, from the CIA for those specific reasons. Now, you might say, well, the NSA kind of proved that we're spying on our own people and stuff like that, but the law is what the law is, and that the NSA should be spying abroad and not on its own people. So there are checks and balances that happen.
Right. It's the FBI's job to spy on our own people.
That's right. Heck, my mother-in-law has an FBI file.
I think it'll be interesting, especially as this season draws to a close and the next one starts up. Will they realize the problem that they're having, that they're spreading themselves too thin and that they've kind of made themselves this paranoid? And will they figure it out, or will they redirect their focus?
Yeah, I can't wait for the next 7 episodes. It's going to be a fun ride. And then next fall, I don't anticipate it will start off as slow next fall.
Yeah, it really seems like they're kind of redirecting their focus as opposed to we keep tabs on everyone like we saw previous to Cap 2 to they might just keep tabs on what's going on with the gifted and enhanced people.
Okay, so between now and then, we've got Age of Ultron, and then we'll have a few episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. to deal with the aftermath. And then we're going to have Ant-Man also in the MCU, also in the hashtag It's All Connected universe. So that's going to have some impact, but I don't think it's going to have a large impact. So that is what we are going to have to deal with going into next fall. And not to mention what's going on Netflix between AKA Jessica Jones, which I think is going to be December-ish, and of course Daredevil that's coming out next week. So I think they're going to have a lot to start off from. And plus, their own universe is defined, so they can hit the ground running with different stories. I mean, we've got Inhumans going on. You have the Hydra. You have the Double Shield. You have a lot going on right now just within the show as it is. And we can't take all those storylines each week by week, but I got to think they're intertwining them so that the penultimate episode in the season finale will definitely be huge bangs. And hopefully there'll be a cliffhanger this time around, and that will lead right into what happens in the beginning of season 3, because we didn't really have that last year.
Speaking of Inhumans, can we talk about Skye?
Yeah, let's talk about Skye.
Yeah, I was looking through my notes to see if I had any more notes that weren't Skye, and I don't. So let's go.
Ditto.
Okay, so first of all, her arms, like everything she's doing with her arms, I realize that it's implausible. It's just not good TV to have somebody just sitting there with their arms just like sitting out straight for the next several episodes. But having had stress fractures before, not on my arms, but on my feet, it would not be pleasant to do that much movement with a lot of stress fractures.
She had magic casts from Simmons on her arms.
I know, but even when she took them off and you still see all that bruising and she's still moving her fingers around. Okay, so the way that your anatomy works is that the muscles and tendons attach to various points in your arm. Presumably, part of the reason... Okay, I don't know why I'm illustrating this on my own arm because nobody can see it.
The great wonder of audio medium.
But presumably, part of the reason why she has all these stress fractures in her arms, other than, just vibrations, I'm wondering if it has to do with some sort of muscle contraction, like when you throw up and you're trying to hold it back and you burst blood vessels in your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if it's something like that, but with her arms, like maybe she, like muscle contraction, something like that. I wonder if that's part of it. But anyway, the way that your muscles move and slide against your arms and the way that your tendons push and pull against your bones, there's a reason why one of the things they do to test to see if you've broken a bone is, can you move your fingers? Can you move your toes? Because if you can't, then it's because everything hurts, everything is inflamed, everything is terrible. So that bugged me. But other than that, every time she was moving her arms, I'm thinking, oh, that looks like it hurts.
Well, she has definitely been transformed, and there might be some advanced healing going on with her.
Oh, and what was I saying about her probably being able to feel different from the inside?
I don't know. What were you saying?
Remember back when we were talking about how Raina was saying how she feels like her insides are made of gravel, and now Skye's like, I feel like my insides are made of bees.
Yeah, well, you're different. And Gordon mentions that sometimes the transformations are ones that you can't see, and you have to learn to deal with it. Gordon, I'm enjoying very much so. The one thing that was missing with the Gordon talk, I thought, and Gordon just appears out of nowhere. That was great with the whole eye thing and how he dealt with it, whatever. But
that his mentor was her mother?
Yes.
I was wondering if he was going to bring that up, but no,
I think he's saving it.
Yeah, I think he's saving it for when she's actually there as kind of incentive to get her to stay.
Yeah, and I was thinking that she started to ask some questions and he just deflected, like, how many people are there? And he didn't answer. And I was thinking, if I'm going to make that sort of decision, that's the sort of information that I kind of need. I'm
thinking that he wants to get her interested, but he doesn't want to give her information that if she decides not to go would
be harmful.
Could be used against them.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if he also wants her to make her own decision and not be pressured into it.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Which is why he didn't mention her mother.
Or her father, for that matter.
Or her father.
So we're going to see Raina the next time we see Skye.
I hope so.
I got to think that Gordon took them to the same place.
Right. I kind of wonder if this is like a Star Wars thing. He's taking her off to Dagobah to complete her training. And then when she comes back, she's just going to be completely in control and save everybody.
Well, the thing is, Luke wasn't completely in control. He left Dagobah early and kind of ruined everybody's plans.
He Luked it.
Like, seriously, the entire plot of Empire Strikes Back is how Luke screws up everyone's plans. And if he had just stayed on Dagobah, things would have been better.
I meant the second time.
Yeah. But again, it's like the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few, or vice versa. I think he and his attachment with his friends overrode certain things. And I think that's what happened on board the Iliad as well in this episode, where you had that sort of thing. And quite frankly, it's what's been happening with Skye the whole time as well, is they're trying to treat her like an enhanced, but at the same time, she's their friend. So they make extra concessions, like putting her in the Banner hut, or the house that Banner built, I think is what Weaver called it.
Oh, I loved that reveal.
Yeah, you know what? When she put her fist on the imprint and then there was a noise, I thought it was actually a control panel. So I thought it was like meant to be there. But on second watch, it was like, no, that was actually the Hulk getting mad.
Yeah, I loved that. I was like, oh.
It was all good.
Hulk smash.
Okay, so when she went to the fountain and she did the water thingy.
You mean the sink?
The sink, yeah.
Whatever. Water bending. She's the next Avatar.
Yes.
Because she did earth bending and then water, and then after that she does air.
She does air. Now all she needs to do is fire. It's going to be great.
Because we do know that the next Avatar will come from the Earth Kingdom.
Yes.
It is known.
It is known. This is actually true facts.
Headcanon accepted.
Yes.
Thus, everybody's happy we could move on. So, Agent Calderon, Kirk
Acevedo.
Oh, yeah. Who, in 12 Monkeys this past week, oh my gosh, is so good. He is such a good Fringe, 12 Monkeys, and now this. The guy has some serious geek cred, in my opinion.
I like that he's good at playing a good guy, and he's good at playing a dick.
I know.
Like, that is range.
Yes.
It is impressive.
Yes.
It is. And on second viewing, they made a point of showing him cocking the gun, showing that it's...
Yeah, it's not an icer.
Right.
Wait, well, the other guy whose gun went off in the air, that obviously wasn't an icer either. So I think Bobby's the only one that had icer.
Yeah, I think Bobbi was just being really optimistic about all the people she was with there.
Yeah. And the thing that Skye did to save herself,
that was so cool.
Oh wow. Gosh, it was amazing.
Deflect a bullet with, I don't know, what, some kind of...
air vibrations.
Is that what it was? Oh.
Yeah, air bending.
Yeah, because remember he was saying that everything has vibrations and you can control that. And she just kind of instinctively went whom, whom, whum, 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 and then the air, it kind of did the, okay, you're an engineer, you know all about that vibration stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so... I guess she counteracted it.
So she basically, there was like a wall of air coming out that she created with vibrations, and that the bullet bounced off of it, and then the trees went flying backwards because it got hit by the freight train of air.
That was so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Okay, rocket scientist engineering moment right here that Scott might approve of. The biggest threat to satellites on launch isn't necessarily the G-force of pushing down laterally.
Oh, no, I know it's the vibration. There was that one that was miscalculated and they were like, oh, so this could have actually vibrated the astronauts inside apart?
Yes.
Because it was at the wrong resonant frequency?
Yep, that's correct. So the vibrational frequency of a rocket in flight is definitely the biggest threat to the cargo on board. Okay, so back to Skye. That was incredible. Okay, so you have the moment of transformation in Attilan after the diviner threw off the Terrigenesis mist and she's encoded, and then she throws off the crust that's around her and unfortunately kills Trip in the process. But
I think he was already dead. She just kind of shatters him.
yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Trip.
I know.
And then there's the waterbending moment, and then there's the destroy the tree moment. Which is your favorite so far?
Tree.
The tree, yeah.
Definitely. That was so
And I don't
cool.
want him to be dead, but I am glad that Agent Calderon took one to the shoulder.
Yeah, that was like
he had that coming.
I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, why can't this guy live in anything I see him in? And then he got up. But then when I watched it again, I was like, haha, he deserved that. He was going to shoot her.
Again, I'm going to reiterate. If you haven't watched 12 Monkeys, you need to watch 12 Monkeys.
I need to watch it, but again, there's so many hours in the day, and I really need to rewatch Outlander before it comes back.
His character just did an awesome transformation this past week. It was great.
Did he turn into 12 monkeys? But
You're right. So he took the shard of tree into his shoulder. He's going to be pissed about that. He's going to be mad.
yeah. As we have seen, this guy already seems to be holding a grudge against this entire team.
Well, he has an issue with enhanced people, and that goes back to when the Academy was taken.
Yeah.
He was there for that.
Oh, Weaver going after the enhanced? That would be awesome to see in a flashback.
I kind of wish that we could see it, but probably budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might see it in a flashback at some point in time because they did reference it. All right. Are we done with Skye? Do you guys want to talk about Skye?
I don't have any more Skye notes.
Lauren?
I think I'm done.
Okay. There's a couple of things that I want to say before we leave the episode. First of all,
Well, we've got the end scene.
right. That was one of it.
So what's the plan, boss?
Yeah. Hold on. Before we get there,
Okay.
the toolbox, right? Where is the toolbox now? Robert Gonzalez wants Coulson to open it. I don't know who can open it. So far, we've only seen Coulson open it. So I don't know if it's like his DNA that has to open it or whatever. Do you think that they will actually get it open? Or do you think that it'll be a big contention to try to recapture Coulson so he can open it?
I don't think they're going to be able to open it.
Yeah, I'm betting that Fury keyed it to Coulson.
All right.
Because it's not like we've ever seen May open it either.
Right. That was my point, that Coulson was the only one that opened it. Okay. So we'll revisit that next week, I'm sure. In the meantime, the whole Hunter and the contract thing and everything, the napkin. Did you think Coulson knew he was going to wash up on shore there?
I assumed that they'd somehow been in communication.
Okay.
Because he said you can't really control where those little underwater pods wash up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there was some sort of communication apparatus within the pod. That's right. And he had just jury-rigged it so it didn't give off his location. So, all right. I need to go back and take a screenshot of that signature.
Why?
Well, we get Lance Hunter actually signing Lance Hunter.
Actually, he signed L. Hunter.
See?
Pay attention.
That's why I need the screenshot. All right. It's an awesome episode. I am really looking forward to this getting better as we go through these 7 episodes left this season. It's going to be fun. I can't wait till next week. You ladies have anything to say left about the episode?
Give me next week now.
Right. I have a couple of quotes.
Go ahead.
But I did pick you out some nice gluten-free biscuits.
And Skye's like, yeah, I'll get on that.
No, that's not going to happen. Okay.
And I used most of them while we were talking about it. They were fighting back, so I figured, why the hell not?
Hartley?
Yes.
Yes, it's true.
And then I used all my other quotes already. So that's it.
Yeah, it was a good episode. If you want to see any of the transcript, go to the show notes. There is a link to the transcript of the episode that an organization does on transcripts.foreverdreaming.org. And I appreciate them doing it so we can pull quotes without having to stop the thing, rewind it, do it again and again and again.
I do that. I stop the thing and re-listen and then pause it so I have time to write it down.
Yeah, I just take it from the transcript. So that's cool. All right. Before we leave this segment, I just want to get out to everybody that we do have many different podcasts on the Gonna Geek Network. And one of the podcasts on the network that also goes live on Sunday is All Things Good and Nerdy. And this week on episode 152, they called it a What Shot? And Naki talks about how to kill a Giants movie. Chris complains about the fate of the Suicide Squad. Anthony goes into super bad mode for Marvel spoiling Secret Wars. Can catch all that and more. Tune in to find out everything. Once again, that's All Things Good and Nerdy, episode 152. Woohoo! Right bump.
Woot.
So this week, we got some ratings.
And they're pretty similar to last week.
What are they, Haley?
4.26 million live plus same day, which is right. Last week it was 4.29, so right in that same ballpark.
And also we got some information of a couple weeks ago. The Live Plus 7 ratings came out for the episode Who You Really Are. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got a 74% bump, making them the second of the top 25 shows on TV that week for their Live Plus 7-day ratings increase. They were beat again by Forever. Still haven't checked out that show, but a lot of people like it, apparently.
I was watching a little bit of it yesterday before my husband changed the channel to play Bloodborne, and it's actually pretty decent. Kind of reminds me of early Bones. I need to check it out.
Yeah. And also, just in case you were wondering, they were 18th out of 25 shows for their total ratings for the week. So they might be second of 25 for the rate increase for the Live Plus 7 ratings, but they were 18th overall of the top 25 shows. So it shows you that a lot of people are watching this show after the fact, but that there are still bigger shows out there like NCIS and stuff like that. So
And The Voice.
Yeah.
Boo.
Cajun Sean in the chat apparently agrees with everybody that Forever is amazing. So I guess go check that out. And then also this week, we have a bunch of news as we do every week. And we'll start with our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. news. There was a really great Screen Rant article that actually Clark Gregg mentioned on Facebook earlier this week. And it is all about how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. became a top 10 TV show. Go ahead, check it out. And what they're talking about in the article is how all the storylines seem like they're apart and like a one shot every week, but at the end, they're all intertwining together and it becomes just a great show at the end. So go ahead, check that article out. I won't give the whole thing away. Also, there is an article, as we explained earlier, Edward James Olmos gave an interview and he basically gave away in the interview that there definitely is a crossover between Avengers Age of Ultron and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So thank you, Edward James Olmos, for that. We appreciate it. And I'm sure Marvel and Marvel's lawyers got in touch with you shortly after that was published. But he says a lot of great things about his character, Robert Gonzalez, in the article, what the past relationship between him and Coulson are, and just the overall arc of the character. So no spoilers other than the crossover given in the article, but go ahead and check that one out as well. So also this week, as we gen up for the Daredevil release a week from Friday, which is in a couple of days, so 10 days from now, we'll get to see Daredevil. Woohoo! There was some TV spots and trailers out there, wasn't there, Lauren?
Oh, yes. Okay, so first we have the Daredevil TV spot number 1. We have a YouTube link to it. It's pretty cool. It has a lot of backstory, young Matt Murdock, Stick, that sort of thing. And we also have an awesome Daredevil character poster, courtesy of IGN.com. There's actually posters for Foggy Nelson, Karen Page, Kingpin, Night Nurse, Claire Temple. But just everyone looks cool, and at the very top of the page, it has them all in order to form the cityscape sort of thing, like an alley. There's a diner and so cool. Everything. It looks nice. And then we also have Daredevil, The Rise of the First Defender, courtesy of comicbook.com. It's an promotional video, about 30 seconds long, and it refers actually to Daredevil as the First Defender. And since we have heard people complaining about the all-black costume, he does kind of joke about that in the trailer, and he calls it a work in progress. I really like this trailer.
Yeah, I did too.
I'd have to say that of them all, the third one, the one on comicbook.com, the Rise of the First Defender one, is probably my favorite.
Right. Haley, have you a chance to watch the Daredevil Rise of the First Defender promo?
I don't think I did see that one.
Okay.
I saw all the Avengers ones. I missed that one.
Yeah, it's fun. It's great. Definitely. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead, check it out. And definitely check out the series Daredevil, April 10th on Netflix. The Avengers, of course, being less than 30 days out now, has a bunch of news. Marvel promo machine is in full swing right now. And over the past week, we have a lot of stuff. The first one was an extra video interview with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth. And they were talking about the fun that they were having on Age of Ultron, and also who had the most time in makeup and who had to deal with the most hair issues. So I think you can guess what and who that is, but go ahead, check that one out. A link is in the show notes. Also, the Avengers Age of Ultron international TV spot came out, and in it you will see a lot more of the Hulkbuster flying around. So we saw a little bit of that last week. This week, we definitely see a lot of Hulkbuster, and it's awesome. And then Marvel put out their little Meet Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch featurette, which is awesome. And for those unfamiliar with it, I could see, hey, watching this, getting a little familiar with the two, and find out who they are and what they are. It's actually a Joss Whedon interview, and they overlay scenes of the movie and stuff, so it's pretty cool. And then there's an article about Robert Downey Jr. and how he describes Tony Stark's life.
Okay, so the title of this article is somewhat misleading. It's from the Times of India, and the title is, "There are only two relationships in Tony Stark's life, with Pepper and Captain America." And my first thought upon seeing this was this article written by a shipper? So I read a little bit more of it, and it's an interview with Robert Downey Jr., and it's actually really good. But what this relationship thing is specifically is that there's only two relationships that Tony Stark has where he takes kind of a background role. And that's with Pepper Potts and with Captain America. With Pepper as kind of letting her run everything because she's very competent and he accepts that. And with Cap because he's an excellent leader and he accepts that. And then other than that, they're just talking about the sets and the differences in the films and everything like that. Like I said, it's a good interview. The title is a bit misleading. If it was talking about more relationships, I would have imagined that Science Bros would have been mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're definitely setting up, or at least the interviewer was setting up the whole Civil War thing coming up and trying to equate the relationship with Captain America, which admittedly I've been watching since they started off with each other, and they're never really in a good place between the two of them. So it'll be interesting in Age of Ultron how their relationship progresses, and obviously Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark is going to be in Civil War as well, so I can only imagine that relationship is going to be more and more interesting and perhaps perilous. And also, we have an article about the two new Avengers joining the team.
Yes, Nerdist.com has an interview with Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson. They do mention the whole them playing siblings in this one where they were previously a married couple in Godzilla. And they mentioned that, and this has me kind of weirded out, it makes it easier for them. I think they might have read a little bit too much of Ultimates, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver in preparation for this movie. But hey, they also mentioned that the hardest part for them was trying to pin down an accent for the unspecified Eastern European country they're supposed to be from. So that'll be interesting. And has a little bit more information about the characters and them filming their powers and everything. Yeah, honestly, they're probably the least of what I'm looking forward to in Age of Ultron, but that's just because there's so much more to look forward to.
Right.
But it's nice to see that they're enthusiastic.
Yeah, so the three big things, you got a really quick guy that's going to be able to go around and punch everybody or whatever, take care of everybody, kind of like the last X-Men movie.
I loved that.
Yeah. So you've got that going on. You've got the Scarlet Witch with her mental powers, which has been referred to more and more. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then the final part is the short clip that we saw in one of the teaser trailers a couple weeks ago with Hawkeye, with these two saying, you go out this story, you're an Avenger. So that is really what gets me interested in those two, is that they become part of the team.
See, my problem is, and this is such a nitpicky problem, Quicksilver in Days of Future Past, I think, ruined me for Quicksilver in this one.
I know.
And I kind of miss Scarlet Witch's weird hex bolts from the really early issues of X-Men because they were just so bizarre. Like, I love in the, there was a cartoon, and I think it was one of the Floating Hands cartoons where they were joking about, oh yeah, it was them talking about House of M, how her powers used to be just the random hex bolts where she'd fire one at you and you'd like get a paper cut.
Trip.
And now she's just massively overpowered, and they tried to explain that away in Children's Crusade and it didn't really work, but hey, it's too late now. Power creep.
Did you see the cartoon? I think it came out yesterday, maybe, or not cartoon, comic, but I saw it today. It's that scene where Hawkeye is saying, if you go out that door, you're an Avenger. And then it's just Spider-Man sprinting out the door.
That's awesome. All right. Well, also, we got news, definitive news, actually, this week that, well, you know what, Haley? I'm just going to let you say this.
Okay, I've got it. Okay, so we're all going to see Avengers Age of Ultron.
Multiple times.
Opening weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Several times opening weekend even. There might be an even better reason to see it than just the awesomeness that Avengers is going to have on its own.
What?
And that is that we're going to get the Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer before the movie.
Can't wait. It's going to be great. Especially after seeing Mark Hamill last night on The Flash. Woohoo! It was so good.
Yeah, actually, I heard about this yesterday. I've been really sick for the past couple days. And when I texted my husband to complain, he texted me back and said, would it make you feel any better if I told you that it's been confirmed that they're going to have the trailer before Age of Ultron? Yeah, it helped a little.
And in true DC, we're here. We're here catching up.
We're doing a thing, guys. See what we're doing?
2 weeks after Age of Ultron comes out, Mad Max comes out, and then, yes, the Batman versus Superman trailer will be then. But again, Marvel gets the scoop, and Marvel wins. So, yay, Marvel.
Yay!
Yay! All right. So we also got definitive confirmation about an actor in Avengers Age of Ultron.
Okay, so this is one of those, I guess, news to everybody but the people who've been following this. Andy Serkis has confirmed that he's playing Ulysses Klaue.
Yep. We got confirmation. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's like when they confirmed that the Russos were directing Avengers 3 and 4. Thanks.
We were like, I thought we knew this already.
Yeah.
But yes, it's official now.
Official confirmation. It might have been an oversight. Like, okay, this news leaked out, but has anybody...
Oh, did we not say that?
Yeah. Have we not confirmed that? Oh, yeah. It's a thing. And also, we have confirmation of 2 other actors, not necessarily their character names, in Avengers.
Yes. So this was just announced today.
So it's probably true.
Julie Delpy.
Yeah. April Fools.
Yeah. This is the problem with April Fool's Day. You just can't trust anything. But we're assuming this is true. Julie Delpy and Linda Cardellini have both been confirmed to have roles in Age of Ultron. Julie Delpy, along with being known for a bunch of Richard Linklater movies like After Midnight and a bunch of other stuff, but mostly I know her from American Werewolf in Paris. And Linda Cardellini, you probably know her from Freaks and Geeks or the Scooby-Doo movies. She's Velma in the live-action ones. Or she was on ER for a couple of years, and she's a voice on Robot Chicken a lot. We don't know who they're going to be playing.
Is it at all possible that one of them is Carol Danvers?
I would say Linda Cardellini of the 2 of them.
You think?
If either of them, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a big speculation now. Who is Captain Marvel?
They might just be bit parts. They might have just had a friend on the set. I don't know. You never know. We won't know until we see the movie. They might have had bigger parts that were cut.
Yeah, Joss has said that there is going to be multiple other comic book characters in this movie, but like major characters. So we just don't know who they are or what they are yet. Maybe we will before the movie comes out. I don't know. I think there's going to be at least a surprise or 2 that they're going to hold until the movie actually releases. That will be my guess. And then also moving on from, are we done with Avengers for this week?
I think so.
Okay. So also moving on into Civil War and Beyond, Guardians of the Galaxy concept art reveals this unseen character, which we may or may not see in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Okay, this is a really cool article just because I love concept art, where we see a bunch of just character designs and things for costumes and makeup looks that could have been used in Guardians of the Galaxy. I really like the one for Gamora. She looks a lot closer to how she looked in the comics, but I really liked how she ended up looking in the movie. But what we do see is someone that we didn't see, which, according to the sketch, is Tantalus. Lord Tantalus is an extraterrestrial deviant created by the Dreaming Celestial, and I haven't really read anything with him in it, so this is about all I found about him on Comic Vine, Marvel.com, Marvel Wiki. So I guess we might have had more with the Celestials in an earlier draft. Maybe we'll have more with the Celestials in an upcoming movie. We'll see.
Yep, we'll see.
Yep.
Also, we've got some news about Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, he was at Emerald City Comic-Con recently, and like you do at all cons, he took some questions. Among those, well, first of all, they were asking, how did he find out that he was going to be in Avengers? And he's like, oh, I didn't know. People started telling me they saw my name on the poster.
I tend to think that's a joke, but you never know with Marvel.
Right. Well, it easily could be that he thought he was filming some stuff for Captain America, and it was like, oh, no, that was for Avengers.
Right.
Surprise.
They just told me I got this shaky text in the middle of the night from a number that didn't have the correct number of numbers telling me to show up at a certain place at a certain time, and I did. I could totally see that happening.
Yep. And then another question that was asked that I found interesting was what he thought the impact of his role as Falcon was on a young audience. And he talked about how it was a huge responsibility, and he was talking about representation of minorities and women in comic book movies and in movies in general. And he said, he was talking to another parent. His son had dressed up as Superman, and that was no big deal. A black kid dressing up as a white superhero has been happening for years. But then a kid's friend's mother said that her child had wanted to dress up as Falcon, and she was like, yeah, but, he can't. And he was like, why not? And it's just,
yeah.
It's interesting that we're still seeing that. And he was like, why is it a problem? It's a cool character. Why does it matter? Why can't the kids dress as whatever character they want? And he also talked about girls having representation, and he said that's why he loves Scarlett Johansson so much.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. And didn't he mention that he thinks that there should be more representation as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so Richard in the chat said Mad Max looks really good. Yes, it does. I believe that Lauren is particularly intrigued with it right now.
Yeah, we just got all of the movies on Blu-ray and lent them out to a friend who'd never seen them. So we started watching the first one with him, and that was an experience.
Yeah.
Because just trying to explain everything to him, and I did not realize until we got the DVD that it came with an alternate dub track that does not have the Australian accents.
Yes, and there's some talk in the chat from Sean and Adam about War Machine and Rescue, and I will say that War Machine is actually going to be in Age of Ultron. We saw Rhodey actually in the Avengers Tower scene, so he's definitely going to be in there. So I can't wait. Well, talking about Avengers Tower, Robert Downey Jr. is doing this big charity push for the premiere of Age of Ultron, and he's really pushing hard. He would like to get the donations at the time of the article were $1.3 million. He wants to get it to a total of $2 million. And the charity is Julia's House, which provides hospice care for and support for life-limited children and their families. So I think that is so cool. And I hope definitely that he gives the $2 million. If you haven't had a chance to check it out yet or donate to the charity, go ahead and check out the show notes and the article and donate. And then finally, to wrap up news for the week, we have some X-Men news.
Right. So we've been saying recently how the word was going around that Hugh Jackman wanted to keep playing Wolverine until he died. Apparently that might not be entirely true.
Mm-hmm.
We've recently had word from both Hugh Jackman and the director of X-Men Apocalypse that this is going to be his last appearance as Wolverine.
The doctors have come in. The steroids can only last so much longer.
It's all natural, dude.
Sure.
Isn't that what humans are supposed to look like?
Yeah, right. As old as he is. Look, I've been going to the gym for over 2 years now, and I'll tell you, it's hard shaping your body. It really is. I can totally sympathize with these guys like Chris Evans and Hugh Jackman, whatever. You get too old and it's like, I just can't do it anymore. Robert Downey Jr. is in the same boat. So hats off to you guys. And thank you for putting yourselves through so much pain so that we can see such awesomeness on the screen.
Oh, well, sorry. Actually, the next Wolverine movie comes out after X-Men 3, but then that's the last one.
I think we ran some stories last week that said the X-Men 3 will only have cameo of Wolverine in it. So not too much Wolverine left, at least with Hugh Jackman with the character.
I did find just one thing real quick.
Breaking news.
Oh.
Breaking news. Okay, so apparently a clothing company called 5-4, it's a menswear company, is starting this, okay, you know how there's Her Universe, which is girls fashion.
I'm so jealous.
Girls geek stuff. Well, 5-4 has started something with Marvel, and I'm not sure if this is an April Fool's Day joke or not, but I'm linking to it. If you go to 5-4, FIVEFOUR, Marvel.com, they have a menswear line that's kind of inspired by Marvel. I found Daily Dot talking about it a little while ago. They have looks that are inspired by, there's one that they got a guy that looks vaguely like Thor wearing a cape and a hoodie, an Avengers shirt. There's the one where he's wearing this like cape thing and reaching for a hammer is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a jacket that's lined with comic book panels. Again, it's more inspired by, but I guess there's the cap look.
Yeah, I'm not going to play it right now, but if you go to the 54marvel.com/lookbook, there is a video that you can go ahead and play, and I'm not going to play it right now because then the audio would come through, but go ahead, check that one out. Okay, so this week in the Gonna Geek Network, Unqualified Gamers, Episode 105, Hyrule Warriors Multiplay, and Heroes of the Storm, St. Patrick's Day Special. They actually recorded this on St. Patrick's Day. Cody and his special guest, Gold Frenza. How do you say that, Frenza? It's like a game character. Anyway, discuss the pros and cons of Hyrule Warriors multiplayer, and John delves further into the Heroes of the Storm open beta. Tune in to Unqualified Gamers and hear whether Blizzard's new venture can dethrone the League of Legends dynasty in this alcohol-infused St. Patrick's Day special. And I can personally say, after watching them being alcohol-fused before, that it is definitely going to be a riot. So go ahead and check that out. All right. This week, as all the weeks, we had a lot of great feedback from you guys, and we really appreciate you interacting with us and interacting with the community too. It just makes this whole thing fun, and that's what this is all about. It's about having fun. So on Twitter, we had a question from Andrew Wilson at Arcanity23, I believe is how you pronounce it. Anyway, he said, I'm interested by Real S.H.I.E.L.D. as good versus good stories can be great if they're done well, like having #Civil War.
#Chlor.
He also goes on to ask, have you seen Secret Smile? It makes me sure Tenet will be a chilling Kilgrave.
I have not seen it, but I had to look it up after I saw that tweet, and I might have to add it to the list. For some reason, Tenet just looks like the kind of, I know why I think he could play creepy, because of Harry Potter. But if I could see him play like actual creepy and not Barty Crouch Jr. creepy, I'd like that chance. Yes.
Absolutely.
Also, yes, good versus good. I would like to see it done better than the comic Civil War, because as I have said before, I'm not the hugest fan of how that was handled. But I do agree. Good versus good stories can be really awesome.
Absolutely. And I think, when you have such a great machine and universe as what Marvel has right now, not only with the cinematic universe, but with TV and combined whatever, it gives them a great opportunity to actually create some great stories from its beginnings and make it better. Which, oftentimes, books are better than the movies, but, I think Marvel can pull it off. So here's hoping. Also, Jeannie at Asset Ices, got it right this time, tweeted us and she said, all this has happened before. Yes, yes, it has. And for those of you unfamiliar, all this has happened before is basically the BSG version of #It's all connected.
Right.
And then Chris at Roundtable Nerds chimed in and said, so say we all. Which is the end of that saying.
Well, it's basically the BSG universe's equivalent of Amen.
Or hallelujah.
Yeah.
Or hallelujah.
And cheers and whatever else.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like the all-purpose, yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Cree.
Okay, Mr. Paracletes tweeted us on last night's episode. This is last week, by the way. Love the scene where Simmons pulls one over on Yeah, this is this week. On the last night's episode, love the scene where Simmons pulls one over on Mockingbird. Hope she was that sly. Made me happy. That was one of the better. You know, there were so many cool moments in this whole episode. In any other episode, this might have been the highlight. But in this week, it's just one of many.
It was at least a top 3 moment for me.
Definitely. And our Facebook friend, Paulo Silva, gave us a message, and he said, just watched the last episode, and this is last week's episode. A lot of focus in family and trust, another great episode, and poor Carla Talbot. A lot of new questions in the air. It'll be nice if there is another S.H.I.E.L.D. where Maria Hill is the director. This new S.H.I.E.L.D. with a helicarrier. Yep. Bloody hell. Yeah. It's all good. And then also he replied to a post that we made on our Facebook page, and he said, nice episode, but where is Hydra? Maybe it's just right in front of us and all this new S.H.I.E.L.D., but he hopes not. Yeah, I think we kind of discussed that a little bit before.
Yeah, I was thinking the whole time I was watching, is this S.H.I.E.L.D.? Is this S.H.I.E.L.D.? Is this Hydra infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. again? But I think that story's already been done in retrospect, so, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think it's just because I want Coulson and his team to be in the right so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that was in response to last week's episode, but so it was before he saw the fight flashback scenes that we saw in this episode, One Door Closes. So there were definitely Hydra going against S.H.I.E.L.D. agents on the Iliad. And so they're definitely not Hydra, but you can't say definitely, can you? They're probably not Hydra. They're probably S.H.I.E.L.D., but we'll see. You know what? We had Neil decided to call in and kind of dress us down a little bit. So do you ladies want to hear what he had to say?
Alrighty.
Hi, agents. Neil here. Just a quick call to say awesome podcast as always, but I had to call in with regards to something you guys brought up in cast number 66. Walk with me. We need to talk about Ant-Man. Ant-Man has kind of become the Rodney Dangerfield of the entire MCU. He don't get no respect. Now, there's no question that the upcoming production has had some issues, but what everyone is forgetting is the character's incredibly rich history. And before you go there, yes, in my humble opinion, it's just lazy geek journalism to jump straight to the one time where, in the middle of a near-psychotic episode, he struck Janet. That one panel doesn't invalidate all the growth and development that the Henry Pym character had both before and after Avengers number 213. There's a bunch of articles online on how Jim Shooter and everyone involved in the Avengers at the time have come out and said how they regret that panel was drawn and what it actually did to the character. Let's not forget that Hank Pym was one of the original 3 Science Bros, being an Avenger even before Cap joined the team. Aside from Pym particles, he even had the mad AI skills that allowed him to create Ultron, as well as to invent a ton of cybernetic and bioelectric weapons in the Wasp, Ant-Man, and Yellow Jacket costumes. He'd later go on to be a key member of the West Coast Avengers and even found and lead the Avengers Academy. One of my favorite Hank Pym and Scott Lang arcs is Avengers number 195 and 196 from 1980, where the villain Taskmaster is actually introduced. It shows off perfectly how the shrinking heroes of the Ultimate Infiltration Force and can easily hold their own. In Avengers number 229, Hank actually uses science to take down the Masters of Evil. I may croak for this, but I'm excited about the Ant-Man movie. My core is on Marvel not letting us down and bringing us a version of Ant-Man that a new generation of fans can actually get behind. Thanks for the airtime and keep up the great work. Rant off.
Thanks, Neil, for dressing us down and sending us that rant. I gotta say, if Marvel was really interested in turning the perception of Ant-Man around, they probably should have started the PR already.
Unless they're just waiting to get through Avengers before they start working on it.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, when did we really start to see a lot of stuff for Guardians of the Galaxy? I'm trying to remember.
I would say it was at least a month after Cap came out.
Didn't they do that? I can't remember when it was, but it was early summer, yeah. They just have a lot of work to do because there is a lot of negative perception about this film, either from the character perspective or from the fact of the crew perspective or whatever. So I appreciate the information, Neil. I really do.
Yeah, Thank you for calling because, yes, you do bring up a very good point. There is more to Hank Pym than that. And while he's never been one of my favorite characters, I do agree that he has undergone a lot of character growth in the comics. I really did like him on Avengers Academy. And I'm also really glad they're using Scott Lang because I like Scott Lang. I really like what they've been doing with him in Future Foundation, FF. I like that there's the potential of bringing in Cassie Lang, as I've been very vocal about. And really, my biggest worry is that executive meddling might be the thing to kill the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, yes.
Right. We'll keep our ears to the ground on this one. We'll have plenty of time to talk about it this summer. All right. If you haven't heard enough of this gentleman on Gallifrey Public Radio, or perhaps even Starling Tribune, we do have a voicemail from Jay.
Hey guys, it's Jay. I just wanted to call and share my opinions with the episode this week because, oh my god, that was insane. I love the fact that we found out Skye was in the house, that they basically kept Banner in for a while. The whole slow reveal of how things went down on the ship, I thought it was very funny that Adam referred to this as an episode similar to the one after the Winter Soldier last week. And here we are having flashbacks to the episode about the Winter Soldier. I did find that very funny. Does anyone else feel like the reason Fury wanted that ship sank was just a little bit more than to keep it out of the hands of Hydra? I have a feeling something's going to come back and we're going to realize that there was a bigger reason why that ship needed to hit the bottom of the ocean floor. So that should be an interesting way of reconciling the two shields and, you know, figuring out who's on the up and up and that kind of thing. So I'm very interested to see how things go here, and this was one episode. Loved it.
Good to know that we're not the only ones excited about this. It was an awesome episode, yeah. And yes, Jay, I totally agree with you. There is something nefarious going on with the Iliad. It should have been sunk, but it's just not, so we'll see. And then he further continued to write me, and he said, oh, I forgot to add the comment that the dude that took the shot at Skye, and that's Agent Calderon, deserved to have the Chunko tree embedded somewhere more personal than just his arm. But because he was injured, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, haha, and go after her with a vengeance. Douche. As we mentioned before, he plays a bad guy very well. He plays a good guy very well, too. So, and then he further wrote me and he said, and was it just me, or when Simmons called Fitz Leo, did it kind of hit you right in the feels?
Oh, it did.
Then she redeemed herself by taking out Bobby. And my response to him was, well, yeah, it's kind of like when a parent uses all three of your names.
I have never once had a parent do that to me.
Really? Oh, it's
No.
so
Weird.
Yeah, you're in trouble when you hear that.
Usually it's just when I hear them yell at me that I know, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. So we were getting closer to record time, and I still hadn't received a voicemail from Adam. I was just about to break out the rescue squad and go after him when we got a voicemail from Adam. So here it is.
So, Edward James almost was playing the commander of a flying aircraft carrier. Don't think I've ever seen that before. Joking aside, this was a pretty intense episode, and did like that they had all the flashbacks to the carrier, which was named the Iliad, which is actually one of the main S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarriers in the comics, so that was a nice touch. Also really liked the way they showed Skye sort of learning to control her powers, especially the scene with the water spiraling out of the faucet. She still has some work to do, considering that not only did she stop the bullet, she also killed the guy with a big splinter from a tree and also destroyed several trees behind it. Well, that about covers it. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you very much for calling in, Adam. And by the way, Jay, thank you very much for calling in as well. But Adam, I'm glad you called in and I did not have to send out the rescue squad.
Right.
So
I will just say I don't think he's dead yet.
Yeah, he got up. And when I was looking, it wasn't in like his heart or his lung or anything. It was just kind of in his shoulder. Having injured that part of my shoulder, it won't kill you, but it will hurt you. It's just kind of, there's some squishy parts right there.
Yeah, I was thinking that he was alive because Bobby didn't rush over to him at all. She was shocked at what happened, of course. But I think
she likes Skye better than she likes him anyway.
Well,
right?
I think she was shocked that he shot her to begin with an actual bullet.
She told him one thing. Like, dude, one rule. No gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, icers only. And apparently Bobbi was the only one actually using icers.
Did you get that memo I sent you? Let me get you a copy of that memo.
Yeah, we'll see what I'm sure she'll bring it up with Robert when they get back to the but she's probably going to be overrun. Matter of fact, this might be the thing that causes Bobbi to switch sides as well. You never know. All right. And then also rounding out our feedback this week, we got another iTunes review.
Yay!
Woo-hoo! Titled Level 9 Access 5-star review from Spidey616. Now that I've got Level 9 access, I can get caught up. Thanks for all the weekly briefing on the MCU and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. See you next week, agents. So thank you very much, Spidey616. We appreciate it. And rounding out the week, go check out Walking the Walking Dead on the Gonna Geek Network, episode 53, which is the penultimate season 5 episode. In that edition of Walking the Walking Dead, the crew discusses season 5, episodes 14 and 15, Spend and Try. This episode was recorded in front of a live studio audience, so it features some great listener feedback questions. I do believe it was their first live podcast. Where is the story going, and how will the group mess up everything? Listen to find out. Absolutely. So next week, we're going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 16, Afterlife. In the meantime, you can catch all of our great content throughout the week on our website, legendsofshield.com. You can give Ace a voicemail, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about anything this week. If you're a little bit behind on the podcast, go ahead. Give us a call at 844-THE-BUS-1, 844-843-2871. I will promise we will play it on the podcast and respond. Also, don't forget about our Facebook, our Twitter account, Tumblr account, YouTube channel, and most importantly, the forums, forums.gonnageek.com. I have been having some fun talking on the forums in the last couple of weeks, so go check that out. Don't forget, you can also find us on Mixcloud. That's Mixcloud, Spreaker, and SoundCloud. We will still obviously be at iTunes and all the other ways to find us, Stitcher, so on and so forth. So, thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate each and every one of you that listens to us live, that listens to the downloaded podcast, and communicates with us.
Right. We appreciate all the feedback we get. To all the people that have hit us up on Twitter this week, thank you. To all the people that live tweeted with Lauren, and to the people that hit us up throughout the week, before and after the episode. We appreciate all of that. So thank you guys.
And thank you for everybody who's called and left us a voicemail. Neil, Jay, Adam. If you're a new listener, don't be shy. We love hearing from you. You can give us a call. We won't judge you. We will just give you our unconditional love.
Absolutely. Every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And you can also subtract 1 or 2 hours if you are Mountain or Pacific time. We do broadcast live. It is gonnageek.com/live. We interface with a wonderful chat room via Chatwing. So go ahead, check us out. Again, that's Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And you can stream on YouTube or Mixlr. And we do have the Chatwing interface. And we appreciate everybody that shows up on Chatwing to talk with us and to set us straight on how many episodes there are left with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season, as well as many other fun things. And they interact with each other. So it's a lot of fun. Come out and check that out. Also, thank you very much for everybody on Facebook, the new Facebook likes every week. We got some last week. We're getting some this week. It is awesome. So until next week, I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
We'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com, where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.
Julie Delpy and Linda Cardellini.
Yeah.
Okay.
Julie Delpy, she was in, besides all the Richard Linklater, like after whatever movies, she was also in American Werewolf in Paris. And Linda Cardellini was also in, she's Velma in the Scooby-Doo movies.
Oh.
She was in Freaks and Geeks. She was on ER. She's a voice in Robot Chicken a whole lot.
I was just trying to get the pronunciation down.
It's Cardinelli.
Cardinelli.
Card like a playing card.
Right.
Cardinelli.
Cardinelli.
Yes.
Are you sure? I thought it was Cardellini.
Yeah.
The L's are before the end.
That's what it looks like to me. Cardellini.
It's Cardinelli. Damn it, you guys are confusing me. It's Cardinelli.
Cardinelli.
I think that's misspelled.
No, it's well.
Yeah. I've always seen and heard it Cardellini. That's how it's spelled.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
Lauren's having
I'm the one who's mispronouncing it this week. It's Cardellini.
You can put this in the outtakes.
Delpy is pronounced right. Damn it.
You got Delpy right. We'll give you that one.
Is it magical?